Heavy. He took off as soon as I turned it on.
I know. Good.
Hi there, everybody. Tim,
Good.
welcome back to the Pinky Toe Show. I don't even know how to start. It's not a. We have to keep it serious because it's kind of intense subject matter here.
Yeah.
But we're here at 10345. Whatever the rest of the fucking address is. The funny thing about coming to do, we're on the subject, of course, of Bob Crane. And when we're headed up here, right, Bubby, there was like this crazy intense storm, like out of nowhere. You couldn't even see the road. It was all crazy on the way up here.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the hell, dude? Everything's telling us not to do this and shit. So we pull up, we're scoping it out. Two guys pull up who obviously like work here or something like that, and they're unloading pallets into the place. So we're like, oh, well, I'll go get like a pack of smokes and come back. Hopefully it'll be gone. So we go and we come back, and all of a sudden they're out there and the hood is up and their truck is broken down. And they're waiting for someone to like jump the truck off or some shit. Like, dude, all the signs are pointing for us to not do this, baby.
Yeah.
Probably after you watch the video, if you do all the way through,
And we're gonna die after.
you can probably understand
It's
why.
fucked up. I probably just predict.
Well, we can start off, Bubby. I can't even see with the sun. We're not gonna do like his entire biography, right?
Mhm.
All right, so we're not gonna do like his entire biography from early childhood and.
What do we look like? As fucking biographers?
Right, this is not about Berserker from Clerks, but I'll start off with like Hogan's Heroes. I remember watching Hogan's Heroes, I think with my granny, reruns of course, when Bob Crane died the year I was born. So, but yeah, that ran from 65 to 71. I remember watching reruns with it with my granny. I think, yeah, with my granny, I remember watching it with my sister on Nick at Night. I was a kid, I wasn't really that interested in it. You know, if the show didn't have like a really cool car and a hot chick like Dukes of Hazzard, I really wasn't interested. But I remember that I thought the Colonel Klink guy was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me turn you around again and show you the building. So yeah, I think my sister might have seen the little documentary, I think it's called Autofocus, and became obsessed. My sister was really into true crime. She had a lot of true crime novels, and I think she might have had one and read one and became interested, and that's why she always wanted to watch Hogan's Heroes and Nick at Night, and we'd always watch, you know, together and shit. But yeah, my sister had a bunch. She had the Helter Skelter book. She had the Zodiac Killer book, and then she was like 9 years old, 9 years old, and she showed my mom. She became obsessed, started showing my mom all the crazy grisly pics out of all the books. You know what I mean? And so my mom took the books away from her, and I snuck in and found where my mom hid the books from her, and I started reading them, so I got into the shit as well. Alright, so we'll start off with I don't know how to put this, Bubby. You could Bob Crane was a bit of a
Sex addict?
pervert, maybe. He had an obsession with sex, having sex with chicks, videotaping it. You know, it's a lot of things that I read said that his career kind of declined, but also 2 marriages. He was doing it before, during, you know, the marriage, doing this. And, you know, after Hogan's Heroes, his career kind of took a nosedive. I think he had, like, after Hogan's Heroes, he had his own show, The Bob Crane Show, really bad ratings. That was canceled, like, just like within weeks of the first airing. And so we started going to do dinner theater. And this building right here used to be the old Windmill Dinner Theater. And in 1978, this is where he was performing a play called Beginner's Luck. Wow, this is terrible. We should go back to Richard Dawson. Introduced him to a guy named John Carpenter. Not that John Carpenter, but John Henry Carpenter, who was a sales rep for Sony. And he would help like a lot of famous clients with their video equipment. And Dawson introduced him to Bob Crane. They hit it off, went to, you know, the bar. Of course, Bob Crane got a lot of attention from his celebrity status, and, you know, a lot of chicks. And I guess he introduced him as John Carpenter guy as his manager. And of course, they would go and take the chicks and have sexual escapades while videotaping it.
In their words, actually. Escapades, to make it sound like a DC villain or something.
Like a DC villain? Like Bob Crane was a DC villain?
Yeah,
that's
like
terrible.
Sexual escapades and all that. Like, he wasn't a fucking joke.
On what, July 25th, right, Bob? John Carpenter actually like rearranged like flights and shit to coincide with his touring schedule for the dinner theaters. On July 25th, he flew out here to hang out with Bob Crane, you know, hoping to have more sexual exploits with women and shit like that. And you know, had a rental car. And I guess Bob Crane was getting tired of him, as they said. He was kind of like a hanger-on, and the friendship was kind of dissolving. The guy was becoming obnoxious and shit like that. And he decided to cut the friendship off. And I've read accounts where it said it was like over the phone that he did this. I've also read that they sat down for dinner, and that's when he broke off the friendship. And then, of course, you know, days later, he winds up murdered. But this right here, yeah, it was the Windmill Dinner Theater. And this is where he was, you know, his career kind of went south. And he was doing dinner theater, like plays and stuff. And yeah, that's completely, you can't see anything. I was wondering, like, if this was the original building. Bubby! Because I was like, man, this doesn't really look like, you know, 40 plus. It looks like, I was wondering if the building had been demolished and torn down and like a new building built in its place. But then I came around to the sides and all that, and I'm like, yeah, this does look pretty old. So I think this was the actual building. I don't think it was torn down. I think this was the actual building. But on July 29th, his co-star Victoria Ann Barry, he was supposed to show up for like a lunch meeting and never showed up, and Bob Crane always showed up, you know, so it was something weird. So she went to his apartment that's not too far away to, you know, go check on him and see what was wrong, and she was the one that discovered his body. And we're going to take you to that apartment, and we'll finish out the rest of the story there. But yeah, that's it. The old Windmill Dinner Theater. Alright, let's go to the apartment, bub. Alright, bub. Alright, so yeah, this is, oh god, someone's watching. This is a very ritzy part of Scottsdale here. So this is kind of, you know, we definitely look like we definitely don't belong here, you know, the way we look. So we're gonna make this really quick. Here comes an Amazon truck. Holy shit. I just feel like there's people watching us from every window. They automatically know what we're about and shit. So we're gonna try to make this really fast. Let me turn it. Alright, so right, oh my god, right where the Amazon truck is parked right there is where it is. So like I said back at the place,
I see a good apartment.
Elizabeth Ann Barry, Bob Crane was supposed to show up for lunch meeting and never did. And which was weird because, you know, Bob Crane never just didn't show up like that. And so she came here to the apartment right in front of you. You see right there. Noticed that the door was unlocked, so she went in and discovered his body. He was laying in his bed in the bedroom. His head bashed in kind of unrecognizably, bludgeoned, electrical cord tied around his neck. Some accounts I've heard on on a video that they found semen on his chest, which I'm not saying that's not true, but I've never read that account, but it seems fitting. So what I was saying with John Henry Carpenter, right? So, first off, when the Scottsdale Police Department was they were so small they didn't even have a homicide unit, and were in no way, shape, or form prepared to handle such a high-profile murder case like this. You know, they botched a lot of evidence. They had people coming in and out. It was horribly. They didn't have like anything necessary or not necessary, but they just weren't. They were so small they weren't prepared to handle a case like this, or any homicide case, it seems like. Back in 1978, they didn't have any DNA. Of course, they didn't. I can't even talk. This is so weird being here and knowing what happened right there. They didn't have DNA, you know, testing and shit like that. This is over, you know, 44 years ago. But John Henry Carpenter, the one I was speaking about before, had a rental car. And they found blood in the rental car, like blood smears that actually did match Bob Crane's DNA or blood type, but not Bubby, but did not match John Carpenter's, and there was no one else in the car with him. And for some reason, that wasn't enough evidence. It kind of should have been, but the Maricopa County decided not to prosecute and just dropped the case, and it still remains unsolved. But we basically, it's kind of obvious, you know what I mean? Him breaking off the relationship, like what, 4 days earlier. Bob Crane was this guy's only way to get chicks. All that was ending for him, and everything points to him. They even came back in 1990, I think, and like they actually charged and arrested him, and they got the DNA, the samples that they had, but they were so old, and they weren't able to really get enough of it to like absolutely positive, results that it was Bob Crane's blood or DNA in the car. They used all of it that was there, so there was no going back and testing in it because there was nothing there. They did see a picture of in the car, Bubby. Would you stop trying to walk to either side? There was where they thought they saw brain tissue in the car. Mm-hmm. But of course, all that evidence and all that was long gone, and so they just said, well, that's speculation, But I think it's obvious that all the signs point to this John Henry Carpenter as being the murderer. They say that when the tapes came out, his son said that all the girls in the videos knew and consented to the videotape, but then there was a lot of them that said they had no idea he was videotaping until they got a call from the Scottsdale police after his death. And so there could have been like a disgruntled husband, disgruntled girls in the videos, or their boyfriends, or also his wife, his last wife. They said the divorce was not final. They're going through a really messy divorce, and since the divorce wasn't final, she got the estate, all the money, the residuals or whatever from Hogan's Heroes, from the reruns. And I think his son was kind of pointed in that direction. But we personally think, right, Bubby? Bubby, why are you like the Blair Witch Project over there? Come here. We think this obviously leads to the John Henry Carpenter guy who killed him, but John Carpenter actually died in 1998, so if there was any kind of way that they can prove it, he's already long gone. And so this case remains unsolved, but I think we both know. So yeah, right there. 132A. Right in that bedroom, right in there. Alright. So Bub will walk.
Trying to get this.
Alright, so right back there. But, you know, rest in peace, Bob Crane. You know, just because he was a bit of a sex addict doesn't make him a terrible person, right? Oh, it was terrible. He didn't deserve that, you know. So rest in peace, Bob Crane. And Bubby, I guess that's going to do it. So remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the flip flop. And stay safe. Stay safe, my friends.